YouTube, welcome back. Dub Digital, crypto news, macro, trends. Give me a subscribe if you appreciate the content. I'm trying to bring you the hottest crypto content on the inter of nets, on the use of tubes. Today we got another one by popular demand. We're talking about HBAR, baby, Hedera Hashgraph. Let's get to it. You know I like to start out on the longer term scale. The weekly is good for identifying longer term trends that play over months. That's what I'm really looking at. I'm looking to ride the trend and make my money and not necessarily be a market sniper. I don't gotta get a Jaguar if I could just take the Greyhound bus, bro. It's all going to the same place. So let's get into it. You guys see this right here? That was a huge move. This is probably one of the biggest moves I saw in crypto during this cycle. Minus like Elron, but this is a pretty big blow up. What was this? Almost 600% up. This thing was like rocket fuel. Over the course of 56 days, that's one quarter, guys. That's one fiscal quarter. And this thing actually did, from its lowest point in the wick, went up almost 700%. This thing's explosive. This thing's new. HBAR is like an alternative to blockchain. It's not blockchain. Dub Digital, what the heck? This is a blockchain cryptocurrencies channel, man. You bringing me stuff that's not blockchain? What's wrong with... Hey, hold up. Hold up. We're gonna get into the use cases of this coin here if you're not a believer. I got some very personal, professional reasons as to why I think HBAR is going to excel because of the industries I've previously worked in. We're gonna get around to that. Let's do the geometry. I'm gonna jump into the one day here. James, you just draw this simple shapes. You don't use the MACD. You don't use the RSI. You don't use all these Western indicators, blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, throughout my life, I've learned that, hey, keep it simple, stick to the fundamentals, and you're gonna get where you need to go. This is a slightly descending triangle, guys. HBAR, while it has corrected from its big shot up earlier this year, it's gone down about 70%. That's typically good, but there's something on this chart that's concerning me still. Can you guys point it out? I'm waiting. I don't hear you. All right, I'll help you out. This area right here, guys, we call that a big fat air pocket. Now, with that said, though, not saying that this thing can't turn around and go up, because this is a very new asset. And if you watched the video I released the other day, a new asset is also called a nascent asset. A nascent asset lacks price history, so it's extremely volatile. And I would say 700% up is extremely volatile. So while this might be a good bargain on the long term to pick HBAR up, I do see this and I must bring it to you and blow the horn, man. I gotta blow the horn for you guys that this thing potential to drop significantly, probably 25%, 20% is more likely. I drew some green rectangles here. One's less green, one's more green. That's a simple way of showing you that, hey, I'm interested here, but I'm definitely interested here. So guys, I already entered into HBAR here. So as this thing was correcting down into the green, I had already bought up here just to get some skin in the game. Because of this, and because my price is higher than what it is now, I'm willing to wait for a really cheap deal down in this area. If it doesn't come, I still got my back. And that's why I say get some skin in the game, even though it might not be substantial, so you don't get that FOMO. Having a little bit in a coin will keep you from doing something crazy, keep you from buying in, losing all your money, and having to sleep on the couch and drink vodka for dinner. Not good. In layman's terms, you know how Bitcoin and blockchain like to record everything, put it all on the ledger for everyone to see? Well, there's a lot of industries that don't like that. One being defense, aerospace, and like national security. I know that firsthand because in a previous life, guys, I was doing that, and I know exactly how it's like in having too much information available and having products that would work in commercial environments not work for defense and government. Hedera Hashgraph essentially removes all that layer and strips it down to, I think it's like the last two messages. If you were an enemy that came across communications that was sent through the Hashgraph, you only get the last two messages. You don't get the whole spiel. They can't crack your code. It's something that the government will be very interested in. This, the third generation public ledger. Bitcoin pioneered decentralized infrastructure and Ethereum brought programmability. But earlier proof of work blockchains consumed massive amounts of energy and processed transactions slowly in order to achieve acceptable levels of security. Heavy bandwidth consumption by these technologies lead to expensive fees, even for a simple cryptocurrency transaction, y'all. We have a nice little chart here that shows Hedera Hashgraph compared to Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. First generation blockchains, transactions per second, 3+. Second generation blockchains, 12. Third generation blockchain, which they're claiming Hedera is, 10,000+. Average fee for Bitcoin, $3 per transaction. Average fee for Ethereum, a little under $3. For Hedera Hashgraph, it's 0.0001 cent. Transaction confirmations, 10 to 30 minutes for Bitcoin, 10 to 20 seconds for Ethereum, and only 3 to 5 seconds for Hedera Hashgraph with finality. So guys, remember, this is not a blockchain. This is not a blockchain. It's the Hashgraph. And because Hashgraph is cutting out all those other layers and all the transactions wrapped up on the blockchain, every single time a transaction goes through, it can do these things like 3 to 5 seconds. It can have transactions that are a fraction of a cent. So Hedera isn't trying to be the next Bitcoin. It's not trying to be a store of value. It's trying to be exactly what Hashgraph is meant to be, and that's high throughput, low transaction fees. So it can capture a lot of transactions, like sending an email, sending secure encrypted communications back and forth for like a military or defense or space setting. Up digital. It don't make no sense though. If this is a nascent asset and it's new, and it's not even blockchain, what made it go up 700%? Because new assets lack price history. News affects it like amplifies it. It blows up. This right here was all because a partnership made with Google. Oh, dang, there it is. Google partnership with Hedera Hashgraph can generate 1.9 billion by 2024. That was dated February 14th, 2020. Google, alongside other council members, are responsible for maintaining Hedera's global infrastructure, protocol, and product to create a trust layer for the internet. Google has joined our governance council because the company appreciates the model we've created. February 14th. Wow, guys, look at that. This thing started pumping in February. February 14th was actually the height of the wick. So that also shows you that price responds to news. News communicates fundamentals. And in fact, the news starts hitting you after it hits everyone getting into the move. So all this, early February, February 14th, when the Cointelegraph article was released, people were getting in. In fact, they knew way ahead of time, about a month before you did. That's exactly why. If you're not actively searching out this news, you're buying the news. They're selling into you. Just something to keep note of. There's been a bunch of news being released in 2020 for Hedera Hashgraph showing a bullish sentiment on the horizon here. Ooh, that's big boy. That's big boy stuff right there. Let's go. Brooklyn Net Spencer Dinwiddie is launching Galaxy, a blockchain-based app for influencers, and it's based on Hedera Hashgraph. Random but wild. And if Google wasn't enough, one of the most bullish pieces of news for a blockchain that I've seen thus far, especially because I've had close ties to the aerospace industry over my professional career. World's largest aircraft manufacturer joins Hedera Hashgraph Council. I used to work in the South Bay, in the aerospace capital, pretty much in Southern California. Boeing headquarters are right down the street. Boeing makes a bunch of planes, catching a lot of heat lately because of their, like, what is it, 757 or something that had an engine problem. Boeing has a lot of government contract and contract work. This shows me that there's a need for encrypted communications, cheap and fast communications. If they do get possessed by enemies, the message they receive, they can't crack the code just by what they have. Did I tell you guys the Satoshi values for these green areas? I don't think I did. Let me do that real quick. The top of the light green area here, that is 350 Satoshis. The bottom where we bounced off recently, that's about 277 Satoshis. That's looking like 115 Satoshis, guys. So where you want to pick it up is up to you. I would suggest splitting it out. Unless you're a very seasoned veteran trader, you could be buying areas you don't have any business buying in, and you haven't developed the emotional armor needed to take losses in your portfolio. You could end up doing something crazy like just selling all your stuff, taking your L, losing your right before the market goes up again. So anywhere in this area is a good buy in my opinion. Not financial advice. Y'all are adults. Do your own research. But if this thing dumps down in this area here, I'm definitely looking to add some HBAR to my portfolio. I also mentioned that I spotted a fractal. I always spot fractals, so let me paint this one out for you. I'm identify where I think I see it. Right there. Grinds down. There's a lot of bleeding out on this thing, right? And you can see it in the volume. It's pretty inconsistent. The most volume we experienced was during this Google announcement that they're going to join the like HBAR Alliance or Federation or whatever. Continual downtrend for the pretty much the remainder of 2020 thus far. What's one thing we know? As volume dries out, we need less money to move the market up or down. Any kind of increase in like market cap at all can send this thing flying like it did in February 2020. I believe that this area here is mimicking this area here. Let me draw on this pattern here so y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I took this pattern here, scaled it up, and this is what we're looking at. If history rhymes based on the previous pattern we identified, over the next 70 days, we got some bull action. This thing is just rounding out, finding a bottom, building a base, and then we're gonna have one move up approximately 50%, and then another monster leg up, which is, I can't even even see it off the chart. Dang. So I'm gonna save this, guys. So I'm gonna save this fractal and we're gonna monitor it over time to see if it's playing out the way we expect it to. But Hedera Hashgraph has all the fundamentals built in, all the news, all the partnerships built in. They probably have the most blue chip partnerships in all of distributed ledger technology, guys, to be honest. Hedera Hashgraph has a very eclectic group. Phone providers to big tech, big defense, big data. Dang. Hedera is owned and governed by the world's leading organizations. We got Google, IBM, LG, Zane, Wipro, UCL, Boeing, Deutsche Telekom. It's all good. These are people actually running nodes, supporting their network. Some people knock Hedera Hashgraph by saying that it's not decentralized, and I would tend to agree to some extent. But again, I'm not trying to be a crypto purist here. I'm just trying to scout out possible protocols that could be picked up by companies, by organizations, because this bull run is different, guys. It's different. Got to recognize that. Now we got companies and corporations eyeing blockchain because they understand it can save them money. They're gonna pick up stuff that they can control and tailor exactly to their needs. Alright guys, hopefully that was useful to you to help understand Hedera Hashgraph, its use cases, its partners, and what's really building under the surface while crypto's going up and down prior to what I believe is an incoming bull run. I'm just looking at all these partnerships. I'm looking at all these press releases. I'm looking at it all, and I just can't see why I would want to not have this in my portfolio. But that's just me. Y'all are adults. Give me a subscribe if you appreciate the content. I'm bringing the hottest crypto videos on the internet. Dub Digital, crypto news, macro trends. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.